Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Just thought I'd do a little follow-up video from the last one I did. Repaired the bumper bar. I didn't do a video on what I welded, just what I'm going to show you, just because I thought I've showed you a lot of the techniques I used, and I just thought I'd show you the end result because this wasn't a particularly hard patch, but thought I'd want to show you anyway. And if you've been following on the group, you know that we got evacuated the other day, and that was a bit spooky, you know, because this is laid up and there's no way of moving it, and I kind of said my farewells and thought, oh well, you know, easy come easy go, I guess. But luckily we escaped it. Wind went the other way, and so all is good. But sorry for the people that are still suffering down in Napa and Sonoma and other places in California. It's a very regular thing now. Anyway, so enough said about that. I did some inquiries about the little pinholes that, you know, from my understanding, talking to other experienced welders, pinholes are an inevitable thing, nature of the beast, so to speak. Do my very best to get everything. I only had about 4 or 5 little pinholes in there. I hold a light behind to show me where they're at. But you don't want to go back welding over them apparently, because then you risk thinning the surrounding metal, and that's the last thing you want to do. So one suggestion from a guy that I follow on YouTube was to use the epoxy primer. You know, once you epoxy primer it all up there, and you know, once you're filling your bodywork's done. And also we are talking about a bumper bar here that essentially most of it you can't even see, and I was actually thinking to put some texture on there, you know, some stone chip protection. But anyway, that's down the road, so that's come out really well, nice and strong. I do have a little area on the back side here on this end to attend to, where someone's repaired it and not done a great job. I'll show you that in a sec. And also the other end, the bracket that holds the storage air tank, because this is the air suspension tank. Bracket's a bit dodgy, so I might make a new bracket up, a simple U-shaped bracket. So that's that. I'll show you that in a sec. Those of you probably noticed I got some new jack stands after those Harbour Freight disaster ones. You know, they seem fine, but better safe than sorry. So I found these. They've got the quick ratchet, similar to the Harbour Freight, but also they've got a pin that goes in, so it's a double safety. Bought them through Home Depot for $70 a pair, 6 tons. So I bought 4 of them for this car, so it's all lifted up. But it's got a very positive pin that goes through and makes you feel a lot more secure. So that's that. As you can see here, someone's been in before and put a patch here. Now I suppose it's okay once this all gets doped up with you know, the stone chip protection or whatever. I'm sure that'll be fine, and it's solid, there's no rust. But there's a little diddy hole there, see? Might weld a little plate on now. And what I was thinking, there are drain holes. I'll make sure that they're all clear, and inject some sealer into the bumper bar itself. Show you around the front. See, I put some what one did I use? The Easy Rust or something. It's just a basic rust encapsulator, just to hold it while it was in this state. And I filled the little pinholes with the Pore 15 seam sealer and got rid of all those. There's that little gap there where there's a screw hole. Like I say, I might tap that in, or just even forget about it, and because it's so hidden under a bunch of brackets and radiator and stuff. And if I coat this in a coating as well, and put I'm thinking of using CRC, it's like a wax oil treatment inside the frame here. And even if water does get in here, I'm going to have drain holes, plenty of drain holes, so we won't run into this problem again. And let me show you around here, if you can see it. See, right here, the light's pretty bad here, but there's a hole here. I'm just going to cut this whole section out and plate that, and all the rest of it is fine, so that'll be an easy patch. Can't really see it, but anyway, trust me, that's what it is. The front here for the rocker came out really nicely actually. Used my cardboard technique again, and basically I mounted the stone shield to give me an idea where that overlaps, to make sure this was cut in the correct place, and cut at the correct angle, as you can see. And also this has got a crease right across here, just like I've got my other 108 here to compare, which is handy. So it goes straight down, then kicks down, so it's got a kind of a little bend there essentially, and then just welded it all up on the seam, spot welded here, so that's come out really nice. And now all I've got to do is fill in, it's about 26 inches of rocker here. I've got to trim this. This is from my first patch I showed you guys. I've got a straight line there. And let me show you on my other one. Got a direct comparison right here. See that guy? I've obviously got to cut a kind of an oval out of the rocker. So I've got this to compare to, and that's good. And what I'm going to do, because this is 16 gauge and bending it on my forms is tough as it is, and there's no way I'm going to be able to bend 26 inches of rocker. So I'm going to make it in two pieces. I'm going to mount it, once they're made, I'll mount it on a straight edge so they're dead straight to each other, and then weld them together and make it all true, and then mount the whole thing as one unit. Also I've got to do my hole mounting holes for the lower part of the wing in my patch here. Again, I use the POR 15 seam sealer, rust encapsulator, so that's all solid. Get the light here. You can see right in here, this came out right. That little patch there where it was all rotten, that's all nice and solid. Obviously that gets covered with the threshold rubber. And I didn't think so, but I do have a drain hole on my 68, but not on my 72. I wonder if any of you guys, I'm going to keep that drain hole, but get a new rubber grommet in there. So that's come out pretty, let me just wipe it down. I think there's all this dust from my workshop in here. But that's come out pretty good. See that? So that's all nice and solid now, and also because I've got access, I've been spraying rust encapsulator inside this chamber, and all of the hidden areas I'm going to be using that CRC wax oil type product. It seems like it has really good, very good reviews, and so that's that. This is just kind of a review video, show you where I'm at, and also I'm itching to do stuff after all that fire business. It kind of frazzled my brain, so kind of want to get back into it. Obviously got to weld the floor up, put that patch in, that's going to be an easy one. But here's the floor. See how the floor's coming up? See, that's coming up lovely and clean. I have treated it with an acid etch, so none of this flash rust. So it's got a phosphor coating on, a zinc phosphorus coating, and then before I do end up priming all this again, I have to wash this down with a paint prep. So all the way back there I've got these areas to attend to that I did discover under all that Underseal crap. So those I've got to cut out. Again, that's pretty straightforward. Several along all the way down to here, and then I've got my next big patch on the floor where the jacking point is at the rear, which will require me obviously cutting the rear rocker out. I'll do a video of that because that's all new to me, what we're going to discover in there. Luckily, I mentioned it before, but the suspension mounts are in really good shape. I've cleaned them, no evidence of rust whatsoever anywhere. So yeah, that's that. And then eventually I'm going to be working my way back to the back there. Let me show you there. As you can see, this is the typical light on here. There we go. Typical damage to these wells, all rotted out here. I'm going to get a new one of those on both sides. Get those ordered in from Germany actually. I've got a place in mind for that. And then all this fender here, See, that's all missing, so I might buy one of those rear fender patches. I just want to see, because this is all missing. See, it goes to about here, and then so it's missing a good old section there. And that'll be a kind of a fun challenge, because I think that's something a lot of people experience, these rotted out spare wheel wells, so we can learn together on that. Basically what I've seen is a pinch weld all the way here, so all those spots have to be cut out, and then the same along here. I'll clean all this off, so we'll drill out all the spot welds, and then it's lapped at the end here, and then let's see it, pinched at the back here. So I think it's going to be, I clean it all up, I think it'll be pretty straightforward. So that's that on both sides. And then we'll spin the car, because I'll have been I'm pretty much done on this side. There is an area just at the front there that I've got to attend to, but then we're done on this side, and I'm going to switch it around. While I'm here, I'll show you these. See, there's the safety pin in these jack stands. See, it's just an extra safety pin that slides in there as a double lock, so to speak, so there's no way this bar can get accidentally hit up. Even if it does, that safety pin takes over. So I feel very confident with these guys. Now that is that on this side of the car. As far as the interior goes, what I'm thinking now, I spoke to Simon about this. Would be nice to change the colour of the interior to a sort of a cognac or something. I think that would look really lovely, as Simon suggested, with the original white exterior. But the trouble is, all these door cards are in such nice shape. They're velour on there. They're the MB, no, they're not MB Tex there, but they're MB Tex on the top there. We've got all blue dashboard, blue here, and I don't want to go changing all that, to be honest with you. But I know people like these velour seats, but I'm not a fan. I feel like I don't know, from the 70s. I think I'm going to expect Columbo to show up or something. They're really 70s. I'm not into them. But I'm thinking blue leather with the armrest and headrest. I think that will look really nice. So it will stay in keeping with what it was at the factory, but so we've got white and then blue interior. So that's the route I'm thinking of going. Obviously new carpets, all that stuff. New thresholds, obviously. I've been working on the back here, as you know, in the other videos I shot, been repairing these small areas with rust treatment. Again, I haven't worked my way around to the other side of the car, because as you know, I've got a small space here. And then what I do want to do, and I will show a video of it, is removal of the front suspension, the whole subframe on the front, and I'm going to remove the rear axle, and then at that point I can get to the more inaccessible areas for the underbody treatment. I've posted a few posts about inquiries of underbody and all the horror stories of rubber Underseal and all that stuff, and right now I'm still I've got actually a call through to Classic Center in Los Angeles about what they use, and I also talked to Aaron Householder, and he said the difference now from 50 years ago of Underseal is massive improvement. I'm not sure whether Aaron said, but I've been suggested for obviously epoxy primer to encapsulate the bare metal. Get a couple of thin coats of epoxy primer on, and I'm thinking possibly a Worth product that the Germans use on Porsches and Mercedes. Like I say, I'm not going to be driving this out in the weather and all that. If I get caught out in the rain, I'm not going to cry about it. But anyway, I'm not fully decided. I'm waiting to hear back from the Classic Center on that one. What else here? Got it covered up at the moment, but obviously then we're going to attend to the engine bay painting. I'm not removing the engine, I'm not getting into that, but I'm going to remove all the brake booster and all the air lines and all that here for the suspension, to repaint the engine bay. This is the one that's going to be the challenge. This rotted out lip here on this side. I've got a few ideas how to attend to that. And also these captured nuts here, they're like little, let me show you on the other side. These captured nuts, like clips, they seem to be slid into a kind of a holder in the bodywork. If anyone can tell me where I can get these from, that would be awesome, because I'm going to need them for down there on the lower part of the front fender. I think that's about as far as I've mentally got so far. So you're all caught up with that one. Now, this whole fire business obviously got me wondering about this guy. Now, this is kind of my favourite, I guess, out of the two I'm running. I've got this one and I've got that one. That's my daily runner, but this one is my like cream puff that stays all cozy in the garage. But during that fire I was unable to move it because it's been making a noise in the back, and I would have moved it. I'd have driven it if I really thought we were in terrible danger. I'd have parked it up at the church and, you know, not worried about any noise, just to save it. But anyway, I thought, while I got a minute this evening, I thought I would jack it up and see if I could see what was going on. It was kind of a weird rumbling noise, and I thought it may be the drive shaft sent a donut or something, kind of, because it seemed to be coming from there. But I had replaced that probably about 4 or 5 years ago with a good quality one, so I didn't think that would have been it. But anyway, I found what it was within a few minutes. So let me show you underneath the car. I'm very glad, because I want to get driving this again, because this is my summer car. Bear with me a minute. I'm sure some of you can already guess. You can see it. Oh shit. Oh, I can get the bloody zoom going. Oh, battery's going, isn't it? Typical, isn't it? Hold on a minute. Right, there you go. See the old flex plate? Bloody shredding itself. I'm glad I found it, because that could have been a bit of an ugly mess, you know, ripping that thing out of there. So, not a horrendous job really. I'll get one of those on order. I'm just glad I found it wasn't, you know, anything else in the differential or something. You know, I was worried that it was going to be an internal thing and I was going to have to take the rear diff off and all that nonsense. So that is a relatively easy fix. I'm very glad I caught it. Let me see if I can zoom in a bit closer to one of the areas there. It's very tight under it. See it? Look at that. Bloody shredding itself. So anyway, that's the 280, the 6-cylinder. I'll get that back on the road soon. Before I go, when I come down to stripping the car down, it's obviously got to be all stripped down to bare metal. I'm actually looking forward to doing that, because I'm pretty used to stripping furniture and carvings and really tough finishes and stuff. So I'm actually looking forward to getting this down to some bare metal. And I don't think you can see it in the camera, but this, you can feel that it's almost distorted the shape of the rear trunk here. They've got so much paint on here. I mean, well, it might be filler or something, I don't know, but it feels bulked up, if you know what I mean. So, and this area here, see that there? I'm going to do an experiment. Now, I put paint stripper on this and I left it on for 10 minutes, and this is the new paint stripper you can get nowadays. Look at how incredibly effective it is. I think harsh language would get it off quicker than that. I mean, it's ridiculous. So I'm not going the paint stripper route. You used to be able to get aircraft stripper by Rust-Oleum. That stuff, it don't matter what it was, it would take anything off. But apparently someone died using stripper in a bathroom or something. So anyway, I'm going to do a little test video. So I would say don't waste your time with chemical strippers. I'm going to get one of those SCT scrubber wheels, you know, with a big barrel, and I've seen it in action and it works really good. So I can't wait to get onto that stage, but we're working our way around the welding first. I'm really enjoying the welding actually. It's actually a lot of fun, and I think that I think it can be a little intimidating, the idea of rust repairs and that, but I think if you take your time and you know, use your head and logic, and you can get through it. And so let me stick the camera back on a tripod here. Okay, as far as removal of all that undercoating on the underside of the car, I shot a quick phone video the other day on the group. I wanted to show you what I've been using. Now, I'm not affiliated in any way with the Eastwood company. Not with 120 subscribers, I don't think. But anyway, I wanted an effective way to get rid of all that underseal on the underside, and to check for rust and what have you. All the typical way is wire brush, scraper, and what. I tried all that, and what a nightmare. I could tell it was just an exhausting, endless job that just didn't seem to work very well anyway. The scraper was horrendous. I tried a power scraper, that was okay, it works somewhat. The wire brush would tend to spin and heat up the tire and just smear it all over the place. But anyway, so I ended up getting this guy. It's a what do they call it, Underseal removal tool, whatever, but it comes equipped with these brushes with a wire brush attachment with a hook on the kind of a rake at the front there, and it spins this way. And the good thing about it, or a few good things about it, it works really well. This is the coarse one. It tears through that underseal like nobody's business, and it doesn't heat all the material up. And you can roll it around, get into all little corners. It's nimble, adjustable handle here. And the good thing is it's an air tool, so it stays cool and it's relatively quiet. It's a messy job and it's a hard job, but this makes short work of it, really. In actual time, to strip that whole one side of the floor, well, actually from the wheel arch all the way back to that one side, I think you could probably do it realistically in about 3 hours, 4 hours maybe with this sucker. And that's hard work. I mean, you have to have a breather on and goggles and all that business, but I reckon you could do it in 3 to 4 hours if you really went for it. Gets all the old seam sealer off, clear all that out, check for rust, and then redo again. And also it leaves a kind of a good keyed surface for the epoxy primer to real key to. It comes with all different brush heads, these kind of things, you know, finer ones, scrubber wheel. But like I say, I'm not endorsing this, I'm not being paid or anything like that. I just think it was such an impressive tool. I think you'd like it. As you guys know that we've been following it, I've got to go back up and get the other 3.5 that's still up in the woods up here locally. I'm going to do a full, really detailed video of that car once I get it back here, get underneath. Now I've got the experience of really checking this one out. I want to give a really honest assessment of what's involved. Obviously from memory the interior is pretty smelly and pretty shot, so delamination of wood, the typical stuff, and kind of smelly. It is a sunroof car, which is nice. It's the 3.5 300 SEL air suspension car, I think a 71, something like that, in green. It's quite a nice green, but obviously it's going to need painting. It's all surface rust on the trunk, on the hood, but I think it just looks worse than it is. Obviously you paint it anyway, so couldn't really tell you the condition of the engine. The guy I bought it for said that that was the last one he drove around. He drove it around the area around here, so I think it's definitely a runner. It'll run, but I want to get a good idea of the structural integrity of the underside of the car. And anyway, do a nice detailed video. So if you're interested, anyone out there, it's going to be up for sale on the Mercedes Rescue Group and Mercedes Maintenance. And I'm trying to raise a little money to get some money back and put it towards the parts for this guy and help me along. And plus I can't have 5 Mercedes. I mean, I've got 4 here already. I haven't even talked about the SL out the front. The wife's getting on me about that one. And I'm going to be asking you guys about tips for that. I'm not as familiar with the K-Jet injection system on that car. It's an 83 380 SL. What I can tell you, it does fire up with starter fluid down the intake there. It fires up and it runs for a few seconds and dies. So it ignites, so the ignition seems to be working all right. So we've got fuel issue, possibly more than likely a fuel pump and filters and that sort of stuff, so I'm going to go down that route. I'd have done it earlier, but it's been so warm and the air quality is so bad, to be outside is not that pleasant. So anyway, getting back to the 3.5, I'll do a review of it, do a detail, and if one of you are interested, please PM me. I know some of you have already inquired about it, but before I put it up for any amount of money, I want to make sure you really know what you're getting. I don't want anyone to have any surprises. I'm completely honest about it. When I was last up, I had a quick cursory look and actually didn't look bad, but again, I want to get under there and really give you a good detailed look. So that's coming up in the next few weeks. I get my buddy Will to help me. We'll do a video of that, pulling that guy up. There is also another few cars up there. There is still a dark grey 6.9 and a 450 SEL that is still up for sale. So if you are interested in that, you can inquire about that. We can talk about it another time, but I'll show you when I go back up there. The whole subframe, like I say, I'm going to take all that out. I've been in touch with Thomas, I believe, in Thailand, who was talking to me about all that business. Getting it out, I've got to make my support to support the engine, pull all that out and rebuild all that, airbags, whatnot, make sure all the bolts apparently have stretched on the upper wishbone. That's what gives it that play. So obviously either replace those or retighten that, and then just go over all of that subframe and it'll be all nice and clean. Bolt that sucker back in. Oh yeah, one thing I did forget, on the rear door of the 300 here, the lower part of the door is all rusty in it. So I've got to do a skin repair on the bottom there, probably replace about maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches all along the bottom. So that's 18 gauge still on that, so it's a little thinner, a little bit more trickier, so I'm going to work on that. I'll make a video of that. Because it's an SEL door, they're more difficult to come by. I have an SE front and rear passenger side door in the shed here, but it's not the long body one. And I got a few fenders kicking around as well. I am actually, when it comes down to painting, I'm actually decided I'm going to go for a single stage urethane coat. Really because I want to try and stick to the original as much as possible, and personally I kind of like the look of single stage paint. I've talked to my old bodywork friend who has worked in the bodywork industry for many years, and he and I share similar ideas about the old classic cars. I know a lot of people go in base coat, clear coat, and I think it's probably a little more durable, but I'm going to get a really high quality single stage urethane and use that. And anyway, that's a long ways away, so I think that's it, guys. Thanks a lot for watching, and thanks for all your best wishes during that crazy fire stuff, and I will see you next time. Thanks a lot for watching. Please hit subscribe and the like button if you like what you see, that is. Alright, take care, guys. Thanks for watching.